Hey, how you doing there? I'm Tomlin's Nyback. This is 365 days towards racial change, day 255. Welcome newcomer, new subscriber. Pleasure to have you. Please chime in. Presently, I'm not able to address comments and things like that as I would like to. I'm juggling school, this project. If any college people out there, I'm taking 17 credits, so you understand that's a considerable investment, and I want to make good at it. This has to be my last year. Like right now, it must happen to get my degree in philosophy, and we're going all out for it. So here we are, day 255. How you doing? What we're here doing in this project is talking about race in America, what it means to be black, plight of black people, and problems, concerns, solutions, stereotypes, politics, finances, economics, geography, politics. I think I just said that. I don't want to repeat myself. The point is, there's something going on in America, has gone on in America, dating back 400 or 500 years against the people solely on their skin color alone, and it's caused enough agitation for me to be motivated to come here to you every day for a year and try to flesh out my my solutions, my feelings, my direction, my desire about this black and white thing in America. Would I do this if I were white? Would I have the same conviction to advocate for people different from myself? I wonder. That kind of soul in a human being is rare in the world. It does happen, but it's not the norm. You have to talk to people like the Buddha, Jesus, Gandhi, even Mother Teresa, so some heavyweights in the world, in the realm of social justice. That's not me, though. I'm not that advanced. All right. Well, we got to start somewhere. Who knows? So that's the reason we're here. My concern is for the black mind. How does the black mind get along, understand its immersion in this society? Yesterday I talked about my motivations, how I've kind of come through some stages and cycles over the past 250 some days. And it has been a journey, but it's like, what's the end result? What's the goal? First I said I was on the bandwagon of the banner about, equal opportunity for blacks, some reparations. Those arguments, we're going to still see some of those in the next 100 some days. I'm sure I will resurrect some of those arguments. But, I've come to a point where I'm starting to think, what is the goal? But it's the same as maybe like a jeweler with a piece of gold or a diamond. There's faceting, there's polishing. You get this raw rock out of the earth. You either got to melt it or cut it and polish it. You got to manipulate it in some way to make it look attractive. But in the process of doing that, the jeweler discovers those qualities of the jewel that makes it valuable. You can't see that while it's obscured by dirt and other impurities. Well, that's what's happening to me with this project of racial change. It's appropriately named because as we're here over the year polishing this idea, faceting this proposal. We're getting into levels here, sweeping away some of the nonsense debris of the arguments, and now there's a shiny, central issue there, and I think we're starting to poke at that. So over the next 100-some days, I think we're going to get closer to what that means. We'll acknowledge that there's been some transformation in myself. I came to this forum as a student, not so much as a teacher. And in that, I want to leave this space and being a different person in a different place than how I came in. That's the black mind. The white folks, I wonder, do white folks, are they sensitive, concerned, have any sense of conviction? Because where I'm at now is that I live in a country where this kind of identity, the black skin, has been eradicated, decimated. When you look at slavery, it's not normal for slavery to be a condition where someone's humanity is eradicated. You know, when you look at conquered nations and stuff like that, well, they still have their language, customs, still alive today. When I look at other cultures, I was just recently kind of witnessing an affair of Native Americans, their dance, their culture, their war cries, and all this stuff from ancient times, before any white man came and touched this land. You're looking back in history when you see them perform like that. You look at Jewish culture, the way they worship and serve God. Well, that goes back into before antiquity was ever heard of or thought of. Yet these groups weathered some very challenging times. But it's only in white America, white slavery America, where it became a crucible, and they extracted everything away from black people from Africa, took languages, cultures, things like that. When my father died, I was in school and I went to class. My father died, so I was going through it. And so an African gentleman, he came and he spoke African words, a blessing and stuff, good stuff. I guess, I hope. But see, he's from the homeland, but it did not translate into an ongoing culture here in America, where I can appreciate his African sentiment and all of that, but there's no connection besides our skin color. But there's no culture, no flag, no parade, no holidays, right? It's all gone. I am immersed in this culture. And then now here's the rub, is that I am an American, yet I'm encountering resistance to my growth and my ability to participate openly because my skin is black. So there's some complicated arguments in there over this continuing year. I've come to a place where I'm starting to see the significance and true nature of this jewel that we've been polishing for over 250 days now. Stick in there, hang in there with me. a concern for financial literacy among black folks. I got to get back on my schedule. I was on vacation a couple weeks ago and I had to adjust some things financially, but I need to get back with my schedule. Can you put away $5 a day if you're a working person? Draw up a budget, see what your daily expenses are. Just take everything, all your totals for the month, divide it by 30, and that'll give you a good indicator on where you stand daily in maneuvering through the landscape here in America. Financial literacy is important. Pay some attention to how you're spending money, where it's going, who you're spending it with, who you want to support with your finances. Especially if your one stream of income is your labor and you're not an entrepreneur. I can speak authoritatively on that. I'm a laborer and have not reached my entrepreneurship just yet, but that is on the way. I'm inspired to do this work by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. You can find him all over YouTube. I listen to him and whatnot. I've read 3 of his works. Black History Reader, I love this book. Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice, and Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com. Behind me, you see the hashtag #us2 symbol, where you'll find black women supporting one another, talking about their issues. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, kind of a black Facebook experience. It's the World Wide Web. If you can't find your flavor or your voice community, do what I did, start your own and see what can happen. I got a private email list that you can get on and off just easily with a few emails and clicks and stuff like that. And we are doing a couple days in Uncle Tom's Cabin where we're going to get back into some fictional stuff. This is non-fictional stuff. This is a fictional account of slave life in America, but very appropriate. We get a lot of talking points out of it. Today we're in part 2 of chapter 32, Dark Places. Tom, Harriet Beecher Stowe, she's just giving the environment now that Tom is on his way to the Legree plantations, very dark, foreboding, swamps. The travel is depressing. They're obviously moving away from mainstream society, not some roadside plantation or on the beaten highway. They're going away, going someplace deep in the heart of Louisiana, and the longer the journey takes, the more they realize there are any hopes of maybe escape, which you don't find a lot of talk of that in Harriet's book, except at the beginning. Things like that, like it's like the ships have been burnt, and a commitment to live out this life of misery, toil, it just weighs upon you with every step toward the plantation, and it's validated by the swamp on each side of the road, and a lot of depressing, and not a lot of hope from nature out there. That's kind of where we left yesterday. Now, yesterday we were introduced to the plantation. Legree. He's got some vicious dogs. He's got 2 slave handlers. He's got 2 black men, slaves, who oversee the slaves kind of around the house area. And they are tools for Simon Legree for punishment, make people's lives hard and the misery. And we talked about the difference between Uncle Tom and Sambo yesterday. Very clear distinction between the two. So now we know when you got this arrogant black man that's being an ass in the room, that's not Uncle Tom. That's Sambo, right? Uncle Tom is submissive, trust God in all things and all that. You don't get Tom riled up until you start messing with God. That's not Sambo. Sambo is always talking and difficult, and everything, and the little thing is a challenge, and he's got to have his way. He's an ass. Okay, that's Sambo. Now we're clear. Don't ever call anybody Uncle Tom again who's being in trouble in the room. A black man. That's Sambo. And we're going to see more of that as the story progresses. Okay, now they're on a plantation. Okay, looking around. The work party returns, and I'm blue collar, and I've been in a lot of community situations. Whenever there's a new person around or something, you're a little wary. It happens in the gym, that kind of thing. Just new faces in the space that you know best, so that they're wary of the newcomers. But now, is that one a thief? That one looks like trouble. You know, all these judgments go on there. So you got the work party coming in. You know, what are these niggas staying around for all day, even out in the field? You know, I'm sure some of that is going on. It's the height of harvest time with cotton picking, which is one of the reasons LeGree made the trip. You know, he's got to have some more hands to keep up with the market and the harvest, and he's very concerned with that. I used to pick blueberries, and I saw the blueberry boss go through that, where he'd pick up anybody, you know, at the height, because these blueberries got to come in, or they rot on the vine or on the bush there. So it's the height of the harvest. So they get in, and Tom gets introduced to this first process of getting a meal. Now it's interesting, they don't talk much about this. Harriet doesn't talk much about this at the beginning of the book, but it's only here when we talk about the challenging way they got to create their meal. They get one supper a day, and they get a bag of dry corn, kernels, I guess. They've got to grind it up, make it into a meal, into a cake, and then cook it. You know, that's it. That's it. Simon LeGree, if you remember, he just burns his slaves out till they die. That's, you know, so this cornmeal is mainly just to stave off hunger, so you don't go crazy out there and keep you going until the next day. So they come in working all day. Ain't nobody preparing food or stuff like crazy stuff like that on LeGree's plantation. And they're hungry, and apparently, you know, Harriet Beecher Stowe gives us the idea that there's only the implements are limited. I've been in a lot of situations where come lunchtime, you come to the lunchroom and there's one microwave oven. And you got 40 people with soups and stuff want to heat up. Can we share? And all this crazy stuff goes on. Well, you know, imagine what that's like 300-400 years ago, and trying to, you know, you come all tired, you don't shower, and clean up, wind down, pull up the refrigerator, get a microwave thing. You got to grind your corn, grind your meal, corn into a meal, and then cook it, you know. But these implements are limited, you know. And since they're limited, the stronger ones are elbowing the weak and the old out of the way. They want to be first, get their meal and all that, so they can get to sleep faster. You know, the longer you stay up just to get your damn meal together, the less time to sleep, and the less ready you're going to be to be out in the field. That's got to wear a person down quickly over time. So they're animalistic, very territorial during this time. Sambo and Quimbo are right at the front. Doesn't matter that when they came in, they're going to elbow you out the way, and they're stronger than you, just knock you out the way, and so they can get their meal. Sambo he takes his corn and he drops it down in front of Lucy. Remember, she was chained to Emmeline there for Emmeline is for Simon the Greek sexually, and then Lucy is a gift to Sambo. And so Lucy's not taken to it. She's like, kill me now. I'm not submitting to this guy. Because the white folks were very callous with tearing up relationships and families. They truly believed in their minds that black people didn't care about that, or that they got over it eventually. Sambo enlists Lucy to cook his corn cakes. She refuses, and there's tension and all that. We'll see more of that as the story progresses. Tom is near fainting with hunger, but he's still processing he was this close to freedom, getting back to his family in Kentucky, and his master gets St. Clair gets stabbed. But still, Tom has his humanity. Two elderly women are left, because they're not young enough and strong enough to contend with the men and the younger people. So they're last, and Tom grinds their corn for them and stuff. So they're in shock, because the culture is dog eat dog, competitive, poor. It's black self-hatred is going on in that space. So for a black man to serve is brand new. And we're going to see this is going to be a problem concerning defiance on Legree's plantation, because that goodness sparks a lot of it sparks behavior in kind, and this frustrates Legree to no end, making Tom a troublemaker in that space. So the women in turn grind Tom's meal. Tom he gathers the leftover coals. Everybody was at the fire. They got theirs together. And so Tom restocks the coals and everything. He still has. He's not infected with the hatred and the misery of the place. He's got a good foundation in his God and things like that. Things are finally calmed down. They've eaten. Tom's going to have some of his own devotions, which is common. I personally have devotions consistently through the day. Muslims pray throughout the day. You find a lot of groups meditate or make a connection with the divine, with a God, metaphysical reality, those things that are important wherever you are at or not is okay. You don't have to be anything to watch the video. I do, and I'm going through a process. It's always revealing itself to me as I engage with my beliefs and my traditions. So he's pulled out the Bible. He can read a little bit. He knows he can find important passages. He remembers how Eva, St. Clair, maybe some of the Shelbys read to him. So he knows some passages. And, this night he's seeking that comfort And what's interesting and good about Tom is that, a lot of his focus is going to be around scriptures that encourage the people in the midst of distress. You find a lot of that, especially in the Old Testament. And tonight, he's in Isaiah 43. And I'll just move past, read just a little bit of that. Isaiah 43, 2 and 3. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flames shall not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. So Tom's finding some encouragement in his Bible that Legree let him keep. But the slaves are like, oh my God, that's just blowing my mind. So most of the slaves have not seen it or heard that stuff before. Some of the slaves have. They've obviously been bought from more organized plantations and had some religious training there. And so they want to hear more, they want to hear it again, and they're very excited. This is, wow, this is like turning on a light in this dark place on the Legree plantation. And there's some discussion about lack of sleep and the things they're struggling with. That little microcosm of activity is kind of like encouraging to Tom. It's like a homecoming for him because some of the opening chapters of Uncle Tom's Cabin has him leading community worship in that way. So he's probably it's like, okay, maybe this could be a place where you get some of that going again. So he goes. I think he's encouraged. He gets up, leaves the fire and all of the day's toil, goes to his quarters and is almost knocked over by the smell. And probably, the slaves probably did not bathe regularly or anything like that. They were, they went to the field, slept on the dirt floor. It's homelessness. We think look at homelessness today and stuff like that, but the slave lived in depravity and squalor. Tom is living in that acutely. He's not in a bed or a wood floor. These are dirt floors with hay and straw, like you treat horses and cows and stuff like that. So that's where he is. So I'm sure there's vermin, bugs, things in there, and it's really sad. Fortunately, he's worn out enough. Now, he hasn't been out in the field yet. He's just exhausted from the day's journey, and whatnot. But he finally drifts off to sleep. Before he goes off to sleep, he does muse on Eva, that whole experience, and his family as well is on his mind. So that's the introduction to the space. Harriet Beecher Stowe has really recreated the environment, what nature's doing, the place. Legree's place is actually decrepit. He got it because the former owner became insolvent, meaning that just couldn't pay the bills, and so the bank had to liquidate that space, and Legree got it for a song, very cheaply. But Legree's not the kind of guy to have upkeep, so windows are boarded, weeds have taken over the grounds, and things like that. You would wonder that any business, if you approached it, it would look like an abandoned plantation. That's how run down it was. So that's Tom. That's where Tom's living now. This is the third space that we find Tom in. Let's see what's going to happen with Tom in this space tomorrow. Come back and join us. That's day 255 out of the way of 365 days towards racial change. My name is Tom Nyback. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.